Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Psychic Psychology YouTube channel, where today we're going to continue to explore female grounding in Class 2 of our Women's Sacred Energy series, where we focus on the sublime elegance and powerfully transformative skill of a woman's ovary-centered grounding. Today's class is called Introducing Ovary Perfect Pictures, grounding and balancing their complex and intense instinctual messages. And we will continue where Tutorial 1, called The Immense Power of Grounding Your Ovaries, left off, where I covered important core concepts and the basic techniques for ovary-centered grounding, where we first tapped into our third chakra balance, then created our grounding cord, then grounded our ovaries and our uterus, adding as well, of course, grounding our sciatic nerves and the female creative space out in front of the belly. I hope you've had a little time to practice, but even before I felt like I was proficient, I experienced recognizable benefits right away, two of which were a profound deepening, of course, of my grounding, and a noticeable and a welcome drop in anxiety. And I hear this from a lot of other women. The female creative energies we'll explore in this series, in all of our women's studies, are sacred vital energies which are in play for those of us born female, those of us born with ovaries, and are in play whether you choose to bear children or not, whether you are a cisgendered woman, gay, bisexual, or transgendered. Though transgendered energies are a little bit more complex. And these vital energies are also in play for women who've had a full or partial hysterectomy or are postmenopausal, such as myself. So in today's session, we will delve more deeply into understanding and balancing specific instinctual ovary energies we call ovary perfect pictures. Beautiful instinctual energies that vibrate with a natural, joyous kind of playfulness and rambunctiousness. Now, our ovary perfect pictures arise from, no surprise, our ovaries, and surround and float and flutter around our ovaries at a distance of about a ½ inch to an inch or so, and sometimes a little further out. And there are approximately 200 or so ovary perfect pictures around each ovary, making about 400 total between the two ovaries. And the focus of today's tutorial is to help us begin to understand an aspect of the power and complexity of the instinctual messages they carry. Beautiful, powerful instinctual messages of nurturing, support, and perfection. And that brings us to the primary focus of today's tutorial. When our ovary perfect pictures are not grounded, they tend to create a conundrum for us. A beautiful conundrum, actually, because according to our guides, this is a necessary and important developmental task for most women. Not all women, but most women. And that developmental task is to learn how to be motivated by our natural instincts for a kind of perfection, without being rigidly controlled and thrown off balance. Now, this is a complex and subtle point, and it often takes 2 or 3 times hearing this before it really begins to make sense. But once you begin to understand this phenomenon, it will become clear as a bell. Not only will you be delighted by your own eureka moments, you will find a new kind of freedom and empowerment. So let me explain. In support of a woman's capacity for childbearing, again, whether she chooses to bear children or not, she runs 2 drives. One, an instinctual programming to be responsible for others, especially, of course, her children. And the second, and instinctual programming to support and nurture people in general, both of which are powerful, compassionate, and generous when balanced and grounded. When a woman grounds the instinctual messages of her ovary perfect pictures, she can acknowledge and balance these two major drives with a flexible, resourceful perspective and healthy boundaries. But when her ovary perfect pictures are not grounded, her instincts can manifest as a driving, sometimes crushing sense of urgency, guilt, and responsibility. While even though they arise out of her best intentions, these can be experienced by others as overreaching and intrusive. If you think about it, you've probably experienced this well-meaning intrusion yourself, perhaps from your mother or a mother figure, or a grandmother, a sister, an aunt, or a well-meaning girlfriend. Now, remember, this overreaching usually arises out of a woman's best intentions for you. And as you consider this, I would be somewhat surprised if you didn't recognize some form of this pattern in yourself. Our ungrounded ovary perfect pictures produce an energy that pushes. It pushes us. It pushes others, often with a discernible, palpable energy. So not only does this stress us personally, but our well-meaning passion to help and our fervent attention on others tends to cross the line and intrude upon other people's personal preferences and boundaries. Again, the conundrum is that these impulses arise naturally out of the complex instinctual energies of our ovary perfect pictures for a kind of support, nurturance, and perfection. Now, it is important to understand ovary perfect pictures are a gift, even though they make life complicated for us women. They're a gift. So you would not want to eliminate them or override your ovary perfect pictures. You'll want to ground them and settle them. Then you can listen and consider their messages without being driven by the narrow focus of your ungoverned passion. And then you can use the special power of your grounded ovary perfect pictures to communicate from a more centered, nuanced, and resourceful perspective. So let's explore this. Again, as in the previous tutorial, at least for these initial practices, I suggest you sit in a nice, quiet space where you won't be disturbed for about 15 minutes or so. Sitting in a chair in the easy posture, that is, with your back comfortably straight, legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands resting, palms down on your thighs. And a reminder, soon you'll be able to female ground without needing to be seated and in less than a minute, including what we add today. So a quick review from tutorial 1. First, you'll tap into your third chakra balance, then you'll ground your first chakra, and then you'll ground your ovaries, uterus, sciatic nerves, and your female creative space out in front of your uterus. And today we're going to add in the step of grounding your ovary perfect pictures right after you ground each ovary and before you ground your uterus. So again, there are about 200 or so ovary perfect pictures kind of bobbing and fluttering around each ovary at a distance of about a ½ inch or an inch or so. And obviously my illustration is an oversimplification and not to scale, but I think you'll find it helpful. So once you've grounded each ovary to your grounded first chakra, like you've been practicing already, Working with one ovary at a time, you will imagine sending out thin thread-like grounding cords, kind of like kite strings, out to attach to each one of your 200 or so ovary perfect pictures that are fluttering around each ovary. And now you don't have to observe this in detail or try to attach each thread one by one because that would be tedious. You just kind of set the process up at an intention level. So let's practice putting this all together now, step by step. And I'm going to continue to show the graphics, but feel free to simply close your eyes and imagine these spaces and begin to become familiar and sense their unique energies, their essence energies. Again, you might check your posture, back comfortably straight, legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands resting on your thighs. We'll begin where I always like to begin, by first tapping into our openness, resilience, and flow of our upper and lower third chakras. And we'll work with both the upper and lower third chakras simultaneously. But not to worry, you don't have to have a technical understanding of the third chakras. Just kind of relax and enjoy as you build that familiarity. So your upper third chakra is at your solar plexus, which is a little below the sternum where your lower ribs come together. And your lower third chakra is at the level of your belly button. And you might find it helpful to place a hand on these third chakra spaces as I'll continue to describe them. So the third chakras facilitate all of our balances, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And they are the sacred centers of our ego, discernment, empowerment, kindness, acceptance, breath, and flow. So breathe gently into your belly and allow yourself to sense both of these third chakra spaces for a moment. And remember, it may be subtle, and that's okay. And then simply intend and allow them to breathe, balance, and have a comfortable flow. So next you'll create your grounding cord. And a little side note here. There are many methods for creating a grounding cord. And today I'm going to share an easy method and a method which you may already know. And that is where we drop a ball of neutral earth energy down from our first chakra, down to the center of the earth to create our grounding cord. Now, whichever method you choose, the most important detail to remember is that your grounding cord should always be composed of a neutral earth energy and not your personal energy. And a lot of people make that mistake. Your astral energy by nature, your emotional body energy by nature is not neutral. So if you use your personal aura energy, it will end up being ineffective for one and exhausting. It won't hold. In the grounding method we're going to be exploring today, we are creating an astral grounding cord, which vibrates in the frequency range for grounding your emotional body, also known as your astral body, and what we often refer to as your personal aura. And to do so, you'll simply imagine a ball of neutral green earth energy in your first chakra, and you'll let it drop down into the earth. And as it's falling, you can imagine it creates for you a continuous open grounding cord about 3 inches in diameter, all the way down to the earth's neutral center. So let's practice that now. So first begin gently focusing on your first chakra, which rests at the base of your spine. And a reminder, your first chakra is your sacred center of belonging, health and survival issues, manifestation, and of course grounding, being aligned with your body and present in the moment. And just relax, sensing that space. And when ready, simply imagine a ball of neutral green earth energy in your first chakra, maybe 3 to 6 inches in diameter. You might even imagine it gently spinning. And let it drop down through your chair, through the floor, down into the earth. And as it's falling, imagine it creating a pliable, continuous, open grounding cord. An earthy green energy grounding cord, maybe 3 inches in diameter, maybe 6 inches in diameter. Find what's comfortable for you. So it's all the way down to the earth's neutral center. And you can just let this process be effortless. And breathe gently into your belly. Just relax. And for a few moments, let's rest in the subtle stillness, well-being, and sense of presence that your grounding cord provides. Very nice. So now your third chakra is balanced and flowing. Your grounding cord is nicely in place. So next you will add the components of your female creative energies. And a reminder, even if you've had a hysterectomy or are postmenopausal, your female creative energies, specifically your ovaries and your uterus, continue to have a presence at the etheric level and play a vital role in your health, emotions, and all of your energetic bodies. So now you'll ground the various spaces of your female creative energies. And a side note here, although you can use earth energy for female grounding, today we're going to practice using our own energy for those purposes. So please become aware of your left ovary, and you might find it helpful to place your hand over your left ovary or ovary space. This will help you begin to get a sense of its location and the feel of its energy. And it may be very subtle, but see if you can begin to sense its exuberance and sacred power. And now imagine a stream of your energy, maybe about the shape and diameter of a thin drinking straw, but not rigid like a straw, softly flowing from your left ovary to your grounded first chakra. And continue to breathe gently into your belly. And as you will remember, there are about 200 or so ovary perfect pictures playfully bobbing and fluttering around the ovaries at a distance of about a ½ inch or an inch or so. So from your left ovary itself, imagine sending out thin thread-like grounding cords, kind of like kite strings, out to attach to each one of your 200 or so ovary perfect pictures that are fluttering around your left ovary. Now remember, you don't have to see this or observe this in detail. You can just imagine it and allow the process. Very nice. Now let's just take a moment to see if you can sense the joyous creativity of those powerhouse energies. Now please become aware of your right ovary. Here again, you might enjoy placing your hand over your right ovary to get a sense of this space. Kind of go inward. See if you can begin to sense its presence, its exuberance, sacred power. And now imagine a stream of your energy, maybe about the shape and diameter of a thin drinking straw, but not rigid like a straw, softly flowing from your right ovary to your grounded first chakra. And continue to breathe gently into your belly. And now imagine from your right ovary, from the right ovary itself, sending out little thin thread-like grounding cords, kind of like kite strings, out to attach to each one of your 200 or so ovary perfect pictures that are playing, fluttering around your right ovary. Again, this is at a distance of about a ½ inch to an inch or so. And you don't have to see this. You just kind of set the process up at an intention level. Very nice. And continue to breathe gently into your belly. Let's take a moment to close our eyes and just allow ourselves, our bodies, our spirits to rest in the subtle calming power of our grounded ovaries and our grounded ovary perfect pictures. Now please become aware of your uterus, your uterine palace. And again, you might rest your hands over your uterus and see if you can sense and tap into that calm sanctuary energy of your uterus. Unlike the natural activity of the ovaries, your uterine energy is going to be more quiet, more calm. And now imagine a stream of your energy about the diameter of a thin drinking straw, softly flowing from your uterus to your grounded first chakra. And just continue to breathe gently into your belly and rest in this quiet sanctuary energy for a few moments. So next we're going to add in the sciatic nerves. Though they're not biologically part of our female creative energies, we also ground our sciatic nerves to our first chakra. We as women have a lot of psychic energy flowing through our female reproductive system at every stage of life, which can heat up and unbalance our sciatic nerves. So grounding our sciatic nerves helps keep them cooler, nicely balanced and flowing. And a reminder, the sciatic nerves are the largest nerves in the body. They begin at the lower spine, travel through your pelvis, run down the back of each leg, and tuck under your heels. So let's do that. So continue to breathe gently into your belly and sense or imagine your sciatic nerve in your left sacrum. And imagine a stream of your energy, here again, about the diameter of a thin, pliable drinking straw, soft and flowing, flexibly flowing from your left sciatic nerve in your left sacrum to your grounded first chakra. Very nice. And now let's add in the right sciatic nerve. So sense your right sciatic nerve in your right sacrum and imagine a stream of your energy, here again about the diameter of a thin, pliable drinking straw, soft and flowing, flexibly flowing from your right sciatic nerve in your right sacrum to your grounded first chakra. Continue to breathe gently into your belly. So next we're going to add in the female creative space, which you probably remember is about the size of a tennis ball, kind of fuzzy like a tennis ball, centered in front of your body about 4 to 6 inches out in front of your belly, just in front of your uterus. Now this is a more multidimensional energy, so your sense of it will probably be pretty subtle, but it's there. So imagining that ball of female creative energy about 4 to 6 inches out in front of your belly, just in front of your uterus, imagine a stream of your energy, again, about the diameter of a thin drinking straw, soft and pliable, flowing from your female creative space to your grounded first chakra. And continue to breathe gently into your belly. And with the mechanics set up, let's take a few moments to rest in the quiet sanctuary of your female grounding. Beautiful. And now let's add in an easy, lovely healing. And just allow the day's stress to simply flow down your grounding cord and allow Mother Earth to recycle those energies for you. And as always, whenever you release energy from your aura, you will want to replenish with neutral energies. So you just can intend that a comfortable flow of neutral golden cosmic energy and just the right amount of neutral green earth energy flow into your body and aura at this time. Replenishing all the way out to the outer boundary of your aura. The outer boundary of your personal aura, which for women, when grounded and balanced, is approximately 3 to 5 feet out in all directions. And that, of course, would be above you and below you, in front and behind, to your left and to your right. Continue to breathe gently into your belly and simply allow your female grounding to remain in place. In your daily practices, it's good to release and recreate your female grounding maybe 2 to 3 times a day, or maybe anytime you feel the desire for more calm, more resourcefulness, and a deeper presence. And as you cultivate a calm, comfortable presence and groundedness, you will also develop a more skillful, deeper understanding of healthy boundaries for yourself and in relationships with others. And some final thoughts. As a way to honor boundaries, we encourage people to separate their energies from the people they have interacted with. So we'll do that now. So first, I will gently call my energy back to me, back into my crown chakra, that may have found its way into your aura from today, from this tutorial, or from any time or any place. And then I'll simply release any of your energy that may have found its way into my aura from today, or any time or any place, to return to you and your guides, for you to integrate in your own timing. Continue to breathe gently into your belly, and please do the same for me. Gently call your energy back to you that may have found its way into my aura from today, or any time or any place. And if you're ready to integrate it, just intend that your energy gently flows back into your crown chakra on the top of your head, back into current time and assimilation. And then release any of my energy that may have found its way into your aura from today, or any time or any place, to return back to me and my guides, for me to integrate in my own timing. Very nice. So thank you. Thank you for practicing grounding your ovary perfect pictures with me today. And I hope you continue to explore the power and gracefulness of your sacred female creative energies, and enjoy a more grounded presence with a more insightful awareness of healthier boundaries in your relationships. And of course, a more graceful, self-loving resourcefulness and resilience. Thank you.